Hi again, and welcome to episode 4 of Who Knows?
Who knows what we're going to talk about today?
Who knows? How are you doing?
I'm tired. How are you?
I'm good. I've had a very relaxing weekend with no plans whatsoever. So we're recording today, Sunday, 9/11.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
No, it's not. It's
It
September already.
It's 9/11 today, 21 years ago.
I don't pay attention to time.
No, I know you don't. Which is a good thing sometimes, and sometimes you kind of need to know, though.
I didn't
To
even
live in
know
the
it was
world.
September.
Come on, darling. Yeah, I guess you haven't got a schedule. So today, we didn't really have a topic today, but I just said before we started recording, maybe we could talk about forgiveness, because we just came from lunch with a friend that we were talking about forgiveness a lot. So how do you feel around forgiveness? Is it hard for you?
It depends. It really does depend, because if I know that I did something wrong and I know that I am, like, air quotes, the bad guy or whatever in a situation, then it's pretty easy for me to admit when I'm wrong or ask for forgiveness or anything like that. But if it's a situation where we've both kind of been the bad guy, then it's harder, because I'm like, no, they have to forgive first before I can, which is kind of unfair, I know. But yeah, it depends on the situation, and it's like, if they're the bad guy and I didn't do anything wrong and they've asked for forgiveness, I think that I also should, in case I hurt them during whatever we went through, or I don't know. It really depends on the situation, for me at least. What about you?
I used to have huge problems saying I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Or ask for forgiveness, or when I was younger. Huge. I was like, I'm not doing it. I was so stubborn, and I didn't want to admit that I was wrong, or that I've done something wrong. But when I met Dad, this is a story, you might have heard it or maybe not. So yeah, almost 25 years ago I met Dad, and when we met, I said to him, I need to tell you something that I have hanging over my shoulders. And when I was 18, I lent a boyfriend money because he couldn't take a mortgage. So I took a mortgage in my name and then gave him the money straight away, and he bought a car for that money. And then he effed off, basically, and not paying me the money. And I, out of principle, didn't pay the bank, because I thought I've never seen the money, And so that was hanging over me for so many years, and the bank interest was just going up and up and up and up. So it tripled, it was triple the amount. And then I couldn't have anything in my name. Grandmother had to put her name on my phone or my apartment, or if I wanted to rent a car, because I was in red. You're in the system as not a person that nobody can trust when you don't pay the mortgage in your bank. So I tried to chase this guy together with a new boyfriend, and my girlfriend that I was living with at the time, she was dating a Scottish guy that was part of Hells Angels. And I knew that the guy that was owing me money, he was living a really cushy life in San Diego, being being a pilot, and I was so upset. And I said to him, I told him this story. I'm coming to the forgiveness part in a minute. Hang on. So I told him the story, and he said, well, I know Hells Angels in Los Angeles, so I can connect with them, because they are kind of death collectors. And yeah, and I said, brilliant, do it. So he connected with Hells Angels in LA. They found him in San Diego, and they came back to my friend in Sweden, we were living at the time, and they said, yeah, we found him, we can collect the money, but we can't guarantee his kneecaps. I mean, Hells Angels in LA, you don't fuck around with these people. I'm like, no, 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 I can't do that. I was young and naive, but I
Yeah.
wasn't,
Insane.
no. So anyway, but we, at one point, we were chasing him in Sweden. He was up in Sweden. They were chasing him, and no, we couldn't catch him. And then I met Dad. So I told him all this, and I said, my name financially isn't clear, if we ever want to move in together, or the government will take everything in my name until I clear this. So do you know what Dad said? The first thing he said after, and this is many, many years. I mean, from the age of 18 to how old was I when I met Dad? 30? 28? Oh, well, it doesn't matter. So, and he said, have you tried to forgive him? And I said, what? Have you not heard my story? And they said, yeah, but for your own sake, maybe you will never see this money, but have you tried to forgive him? This is so typical Dad. And
It
I
is.
was not.
It really is.
And I thought, no, he's a complete asshole, this guy. And he owed so much money to other people that he ripped off as well, not only me. So, very charismatic person. So Dad said, well, even though you don't get your money back, you can have closure within your heart. So maybe try and write him a letter. It doesn't matter if this is before the internet now, you couldn't write an email. So it doesn't matter if you post it or if you just do it and stop pointing fingers. Just tell him your story. You're a single mother with twins and this has been really hard, blah, blah, blah. I was writing and he read it. He's like, no. So I was writing probably 4 or 5 letters. And in the process, it was like therapy. But when I was done, I just felt like this is closure now. I know I'm never going to get the money. And I can actually forgive him in the letter. And then I thought, yeah, I'm just going to post it. So I posted it to San Diego. It took about 3 weeks, 3-4 weeks. He calls me and says, I want to pay you the money. But I want you to go to the bank and I want you to just deal with them. Say that you can pay the capital that you borrowed, but not the interest, because the interest was like 4 times the actual money that I borrowed at the time, so many years later. So, and the bank said, yeah, absolutely. If we can get that money, after so many years, So I wrote him back, but I thought, because I've been in pain and suffering for so many years, I thought I add a little bit to that. That didn't work at all. He sent exactly on the penny the amount that the bank wanted. And it cleared my name, and that's it. So forgiveness, that really taught me a lesson about forgiveness. It doesn't really have to be sometimes directly face to face with the person that has hurt you or done something. And also it can just be for yourself. The other person doesn't even realize. For you to have closure in your heart. And I see these last 2 years, there have been so much pointing fingers and so many people, we've been hurting each other.
Yeah.
Because we've been lied to so much the last 2 years, and that creates friction. But that's my journey and lesson with forgiveness. So thank God for Dad.
Yeah, he is weird.
No, he's very clever.
Yeah, but it's weird in the way that no normal being would be like, have you tried forgiving him? It's just Dad. That's just what Dad does.
No, have you not heard the story? Because it's a longer story that I'm sharing here, but you get the gist of it. So, yeah.
No, it's funny. There are with me, it's weird with forgiveness because my heart is very much I can forgive, but I will never forget, So it's I can forgive, but only to a certain point, because it's that I won't forget part still kind of hates you.
But then you haven't forgiven 100%.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. It's I forgive partly, but not to 100%, because I don't forget.
But then you have a thorn. You still have a thorn in your heart then.
I have many.
That doesn't serve you. It doesn't serve you
Yeah,
at
but
all.
like, I don't know. Like, it's weird because, like, I forgive, but I don't forget. But at the same time, I do forget eventually.
Yeah,
Like,
time goes,
yeah,
you don't want to keep thinking about that.
yeah. So it's like, it's weird. But I don't think I've had. I mean, I can't really remember my childhood, but do you remember any times where I've, like, had troubles apologizing to you or something? Like, I remember when I
Mm,
was, like, 11, I was a complete shithole of a child. Like, I remember, like,
you were not.
I remember
Ten,
I would,
11.
like, yell at you and say, like, oh, you're the worst mom ever, and na
Oh,
na na na.
okay.
Like, and that was just for, like, a couple months.
Yeah.
But, like, I remember I was just, like, looking back, I'm like, man, I was such a piece of shit at that age.
No, it's just a phase.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
still, even if it is a phase, it's stupid.
I don't remember you screaming so much because we've never screamed at you, so
No.
no.
Which I think is a healthy thing to do, because just screaming back isn't gonna do anything.
No.
But you can give the most demeaning cold shoulder. Like, you would go on for days with that cold shoulder
If you, yeah.
and be like, no. Like, you would completely ignore my presence until I came and apologized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to raise you.
Yeah. But, like, that cold
And that's the
shoulder.
hardest
But
thing to do for a mother.
It's so annoying because, like, you're a Taurus, I'm a Capricorn, so we both have very big horns and we're both equally stubborn. So in those situations, you're like, no, I'm not going to talk to her until she forgives me. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to forgive her. Fuck her, kind of thing. So it's like, it took so long sometimes, but.
Oh, I remember
We
that.
got-
That didn't happen a lot, but that is
No.
so hard to just. I need to, because I needed to teach you how to say you're sorry.
Yeah.
Mm.
No, and that's when me and my dad came up with the fridge reference, because you gave that cold shoulder so well that we were like, you're so cold that it's like you're a fridge. Like, she's doing a fridge right now. Like, yeah.
It's funny. It's so I don't know. Joel and Marcus, your brothers. Joel had a really, really hard time saying I'm sorry,
Yeah, I
and Marcus
remember
didn't.
that.
And
I mean, they're polar opposites.
yeah,
They're
but it's
twins,
so
but, like,
different.
yeah, I mean, like, I've thought about this, like, my entire life, that how are they twins, but they have, like, fuck all in common? Like,
Yeah.
Well, one
they're
is...
just born at the same time. They're
Yeah,
two
but
eggs.
it's, like, one is, like, this dark-humored, sarcastic, like, doesn't really like children person, but he's great. I'm not, like, saying that they're bad people. And
No, they're
then
not.
my other brother, he's like this hippie dude that goes in the forest and works with children, you know, so it's like these complete opposite
Yeah.
people, and I've always thought that it's so weird how they're like the same egg.
No,
but-
they're not. That's
Okay.
the thing. They're two eggs. They're just
Oh.
born at the same time.
Oh.
If they're one
Never
egg, they're
mind.
identical.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
So they're just born at the same time. That's why twins, like Esther and Stanley,
Mm,
they're also twins, but
yeah.
two eggs. So yeah. No, so I think there's a lot of forgiveness to do in the world, and it's such a healing practice to do, and forgiving oneself. How is that for you?
Oh God, I have like an insanely guilty conscience. Like, if I do,
Yeah.
like if I like hurt someone, like emotionally, physically, in whatever fucking way, and I'm aware of that, or like they have told me, I will go around for like a week with that in my head, and I'll be like, you're worthless, you can't do this, like, this is
Even
horrible.
though you said you're sorry and kind of made up.
Yeah, because, like, for example, like, if someone were to hurt me and they were like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do this is that, I would still be hurt even though they said sorry, you know? So it's just that thought that they're like still hurting that's like, I can't take that because I'm like, I've been told like my entire life that I'm like the mom friend and stuff. So it's like, I just want to take care of people and like everyone to be happy. So like when someone isn't and it's my fault, it's like the worst thing ever for me. So it's like forgiving myself takes a while when it comes to those things.
But you do.
Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's essential
Yeah.
to start with yourself, I feel.
Yeah. Like, when it comes to forgiving myself, I kind of just picture, like, smaller me, like, younger me.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Because, like, you're, like, your inner child is always going to be with you. And it's like, I saw this video the other day that was, like, it made a really good point. And it was, like, would you, if your, like, 5-year-old self came up to you and they were like, oh, I feel really ugly, I feel really bad, would you be like, yeah, you're right, you're ugly, you're a piece of shit?
No.
Like, you wouldn't do that. You'd give them a hug and you'd be like, no, stop saying that. So it's like, you can't be hard on yourself, you know? So it's like, I kind of use that analogy sometimes to just be like, no, like, because if I'm talking bad to myself, I'm talking bad to her, and she doesn't deserve that.
No. Oh, so, that's a really good thing to do.
Yeah, because they're always with you. They're always gonna be with you. Absolutely. It's like that part of you doesn't leave.
No.
So it's like, yeah, I thought that analogy was good and something to think about.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, because it's like that moral compass of like, you can't be mean to a child, you know?
No.
And especially like yourself as a child, it's like, no, you can't do that. That's, if you do that, then you're like a psychopath.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, no, I would encourage people to think about that more. Like, because there's so much...
makes it easier.
Yeah, because there's so much like insecurities and like self-doubt and things like that in this world, and it's so unnecessary. So it's like, if you are insecure or feel bad about yourself in any way, then just give your younger self a hug.
Yeah,
because she doesn't deserve to be talked to like that.
No.
But yeah,
that's really good. I'm looking at that I'm looking at my childhood and upbringing at the moment, because I'm trying to let go of control. And which I kind of looked at before in my life, and I always thought I just have it like in my personality from my dad. But then I went to a women's circle last week, and somebody said, well, Kim, do you know that having like a controlling behavior, controlling personality equals that, or it means that you are not feeling safe in the world?
Yeah, we talked about this last time.
Did we?
Yeah.
Did we bring this up?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, sorry. I forgot.
No, but it's interesting because like I love psychology for this reason. Like, because you can track back every single thing about you to be like, oh, this is why I'm like this today, or like this little incident is because I have this fear, or this, that. And it's so interesting that like such minor things can become huge in the future. It's like, and you're so unaware of it, and that's why I love psychology. Like, the other day I saw this other video and like, I am not diagnosed BPD, borderline personality disorder, but like both of my therapists that I've had in my life say that I'm highly likely to have that. So I just say that I do because I believe that I do. And there was this video that was like, the reason why someone has BPD is because they didn't have a strong, sustainable connection as a child. And then I thought about it and I was like, wow, like when I look back, my first memory of a friend was unsustainable and it was like unreliable. So that makes sense. So it's like, then I was,
So it doesn't include your parents? Because we've always been here.
no, I think it's
It needs to
like,
be outside
I
of
think,
your...
yeah, I think so.
Okay.
But that I'm not too sure
No.
about. But yeah, no, like I thought about it and I was like, so if I hadn't have been friends with that one girl when I was like 4 years old, would it be different? And it's like that
Mm.
one thing. It's like, it's
Yeah.
so fascinating to think about. And that's why I like therapy, because I just like reflect
Yeah.
on that. Like, I don't ask.
And why is there, and what can I do about
Yeah.
it? And
Well, not really, because I kind of figure it out on my own.
yeah.
But like, just be like having someone there to reflect on, and also them kind of guide you and be like, yeah, but this, and what about this? And it makes you like think about it so much, and you're like, wow, like this is why this happened, and
Mm.
this is like, it's so fascinating to me. Anyway, my psychology rant.
No, it's good. It's good because I think we can't do anything about it if we're not aware of it. So
Yeah.
I know absolutely 100% why I'm claustrophobic, for example.
Yeah.
So which is nice to know.
Yeah.
Because my dad was holding me under the cover, playing
Yeah.
and squeezing under the cover. I couldn't breathe, and now, I panic. I can't even see.
You
What?
can't even go into like a cave, like a
No, I don't like
big.
being underground. It
Yeah,
feels
but
like,
that's like claustrophobia.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I can go in elevators and stuff, but it's not. Yeah, it's like you say, the little things happens when you're, and then it
Yeah.
just stays with you.
It's fascinating.
But you can, I mean, I'm not suffering from claustrophobia because it doesn't,
No.
affect my life. But Dad said once, well, if you want to deal with it, I can roll you into the carpet. And just the thought of it, like rolling with the arms alongside the body and
Yeah.
roll me into a carpet, because they do.
Yeah.
Like, that's
Physio? No, not physiotherapy. It's like, oh, what's it called? It's like some sort of therapy that like makes you go through your trauma, or like,
yeah, phobia or something. Phobia
yeah,
therapy.
something like that.
I don't know what it's called, but just the thought of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I trust him, so if I panic and start crying,
Yeah.
he would roll me out. But I don't see the point.
Yeah.
What's the point? I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be rolled in or put in a
Yeah,
big...
but it's like, it's so funny because it's like obviously the reason why you have that is because of like granddad did that, and like it's stayed, but it's like also like, it's like, I'm kind of just putting it into like my personal experience, and like I remember when I was homeschooled, I watched this documentary, because like I've watched almost all the documentaries on Netflix. Like I've seen so many, it's insane. So it's like, I remember this one documentary about like, it was like some bridge in the US that had like collapsed like 8 times or something, and it would like sway like this in the wind, and that stuck with me, and I was terrified of bridges. And still kind of am to this day. I don't trust.
That's where it's from.
At first I didn't know, but then I looked back and I was like,
where does it come from?
That, because I was like, there can't be any other way I got that. And it's funny because it's like, that wasn't like an experience that I had or anything.
No.
I was just watching something, and then I got this phobia. So it was like, it's funny how like the brain can do that, how it's like, it doesn't have to be like a physical experience. And it's weird because it's like, why does it happen? Because it's like, it's not like a life-threatening thing that's happening to you right now. I'm just watching a documentary. But like, for example, in your situation, then your brain can think that it's a life-threatening situation because you're being held and like, so it's funny when it comes to phobias and stuff, because it's like, it's weird.
Yeah, because they come from somewhere. Some people. Yeah.
But I remember when we were in Malaysia, and we went on this like bridge thing that had like glass floor here and there. And like you guys were like, oh, it's so fun. No, you were like, oh, it's so fun. It wasn't fun for me and Dad,
No, it
because
was.
Dad is terrified of heights and I was terrified of bridges. So I was like sprinting, almost sprinting across this bridge. I was like, just get it over with, get it over with. And Dad was like panicking because it was like, yeah, it's funny, but like, yeah, fears are weird like that.
Yeah.
And it's like, for example, fear of heights, like Dad's thing. Like, where does that come from?
Yeah, but so many people are scared of heights.
Yeah.
But it's something, it's survival, I think. We're not
Yeah.
supposed to be high up like
No.
that either. We're
No.
supposed to be on the ground.
Yeah, but it's like, for example, like someone who doesn't have a fear of heights can be on top of a cliff. Obviously, they don't want to like fall off,
No.
but they're like,
Yeah.
it's fine.
It's
It's
okay,
high up,
yeah.
you know. But it's like someone with a fear of heights get this like sinking, like complete fear feeling in
Yeah.
their stomach, and it's like, fear of heights makes more sense because it's like that just seems like a natural thing to be afraid
Yeah.
of. But it's
Yeah.
like, for example, bridges and like.
Well, it's high up as well, so maybe, yeah.
But I mean, there's this like phobia. It's called like thalassophobia or something. That's like the phobia of a duck watching you. There's a fear that a duck is always watching you.
It's so weird, isn't
It's
it?
fucking, it's
That is
insane.
weird. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, and it's like emetophobia. That's like phobia of throwing up. And there's
Well,
like
yeah.
phobias of like your teeth falling out and things like that. And it's like where does it start and like why?
I have
And
no
it's
idea.
no, but it's the brain is so interesting, and it's like once you just take a little look into it, you'll find a bus load of stuff that you had no idea you had.
Yeah.
It's fascinating. I love how we started off with forgiveness and now we're talking about phobias and bridges and.
Well, that's how we roll
Yeah.
here. We kind of end up. So where do you want to point it now?
Let's mix the two. Like, for example, like,
Okay.
because I just had this thought of like, for example, you with your claustrophobia, do you think it would go over if you forgave Granddad?
No. Absolutely not. I've already forgiven him.
But have you?
Yeah, absolutely. He was young. He was a young dad. I was little, and yeah, no. But for me to, especially if somebody holds me and I can't,
Yeah,
You
just restricts your movements.
because yeah.
Yeah.
Or I remember the movie Kill Bill when they bury her alive. Oh my god, just thinking about being in a coffin. I mean, that's probably my worst nightmare.
So I'm assuming you don't want to be buried when you die.
No, burn me.
Okay.
Burn me. Please burn me. Yeah. So your phobia, you haven't really got a phobia. Well, bridges.
Bridges.
Well, you can't forgive a bridge, can you? Or a
No,
documentary.
I can't. Like, the sight of, like, the bridge literally, like, wobbling like it's jello because of some wind, that was a terrifying sight, and I was like, I can't trust a bridge ever again. Like, I can't do it.
Not even the concrete that are not.
No, but it
swaying
was
in the
like, I
wind.
remember when it first started, it was like, even if a bridge was like a meter above like a tiny river, I'd be like, nah, I can't do it. Like, I'd rather walk through the river. It was so crazy, but I think I'm getting over it now. I mean, there's not that many bridges here,
No.
so I'm fine. But like, I remember like in Spain on the highways, like there'd be like some areas where it'd kind of be a bridge, and I like for example the Roman baths, there's like the highway on top,
Yeah.
and it's just held up by like these tiny poles.
They're not tiny.
compared to the highway, they're tiny. And I'm like, dude, this
like huge
physics
concrete.
doesn't work like this.
Yes,
I
it
refuse to believe.
They're engineered very well,
I
think.
disagree, and I don't trust them. So,
Okay.
but maybe that has to do with like trust issues or something.
Oh,
There
maybe.
you go. This is what I mean. You just dig a little deeper and you'll find something new.
Or maybe not.
Yeah,
It
maybe
might
it's
be
just crazy.
Because we do complicated. We complicated, I think, with too many words around just being sometimes. So on a more fun note, what would you like to manifest at the moment?
Peace of mind and inner child healing, I would say. Been trying to work on that for past week, and it is a struggle. It's a big thing to achieve both of those things, and I'm not looking to like fully achieve them, but just like maybe a little crumb, because I think that peace of mind, especially, I actually no, both of them, like peace of mind and inner child healing, can take years.
Probably, yeah.
So it's like, I'm not going to be able to achieve it in a few weeks, but like...
It's a constant process,
I feel.
feel.
So that's why I'm saying that I'm just looking for like a little speck.
But what I meant more with it, that's really good things, obviously. But if you can just dream big, be bold.
That to me is dreaming big. I don't ask for much.
No.
And like what I've learned with manifestation is like you shouldn't ask for what you don't need. Just like ask for what you need, not what you want.
But I know you want to manifest a job, for example.
Not really. I can just get that.
How do you mean get that?
I could just go on Google and put on some, like, send out some resumes, apply to some jobs. I'm not manifesting a job.
Okay, well, I think it's a little bit trickier than that.
I don't know.
Yeah.
What about you? What are you manifesting?
To be safe. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's... before, I remember, I was so... There was a movie that came out, you were little then, called The Secret, and everybody was just trying to manifest in the material world, and you know, thinking and seeing and visualizing and feeling and all that. And I think that's all well and good, but at the end of the day, when you listen to people talking about how to manifest not in the matter, rather than, you know, then that field is so much more interesting to me, because then it comes to you instead of you kind of digging after it.
What do you mean? As in like spiritual or energetic things, or
Both.
oh.
Yeah, it could be both.
Yeah. No, I mean the spirit and energy realm, or whatever you want to call it, it's like that's a whole nother like universe, or I don't know, but it's like I've had a few like peeks into it in my life, and it's too much. I can't. It's way bigger and more complex than us, but at the same time it's so simple.
Yeah, but it's so fascinating.
Yeah.
Though I love quantum physics.
Oh God, no.
That is so much fun. But I'm exactly like you. I can do snippets because it's so vast.
It's so
I'm
overwhelming.
like, oh my God, this is, how can we even comprehend a tiny bit of all this?
Yeah.
But that's what I mean to manifest. You know, when The Secret came out and we were doing vision boards and everything, I'm like, yeah, it's, but also going after it in the matter. So now I'm like, but I don't really focus on creating or getting like stuff to us in that way anymore. It's more on a different level, I think. But it's fascinating, quantum physics and the universe and the
God, it's like,
I love it.
like anything to do with whatever up there is, it's like I can't do that. Like, to me, there is no up there. By up there, I mean like space or the universe or whatever. I don't believe in space. People think I'm crazy when I say that, but
How do you mean you don't believe in space?
I just think that we're in a simulation, and
Oh yeah, you saw that.
I don't think that there is space. Like, the thought of space doesn't make any sense. Let me explain. We are on a floating ball surrounded by other balls in the middle of nothingness. The nothingness is infinite, but it's getting bigger. We're circling around this floating ball of gas that is flaming. It's like, just if you put that on paper, no one would believe you. But just because it's like, oh, science, it's like, oh yeah, that's, of course. It's like, it doesn't make any sense. So I don't believe it. I don't care. I refuse.
I think you don't want to believe it because it's just too big to
no, I don't believe it because it makes zero fucking sense. It's like, why are we circles? Why are we balls? Why? Why are we circling around this particular ball of gas that's flaming? Why is that there? Why? It just...
For the sun, you mean?
Yeah, it's a floating ball of gas that's on fire. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, it's kind of an important ball, though. Without it, we will.
But what I'm saying is that if someone wrote this down before all this science and whatever happened, no one would believe it. No one. But then some scientist in a white cloak was like, yeah, this is what happens. Then they're like, oh, that makes sense. Like, I refuse to believe it. You can call me crazy. That's okay. I think I'm crazy too. But I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense to me, and I don't bother in educating myself to maybe realizing that it is real, but I am too lazy for that and don't have the brains to do that. I can't. No. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. Like, I've had so many friends that are, like, fascinated by space. Like, it's funny, most of my close friends have been obsessed with space. And I'm just sitting there, like...
It's too overwhelming for
to
you.
me, it's just, like, black up there. There's nothing. Like, it's a screen. I don't know. But it's a dome.
You don't want to look into it, basically.
It's just too much, and it doesn't make sense, and I can't.
I would love if aliens landed. I think they're already here, but they're not making themselves clear to us.
Because we'd kill them immediately. We'd torture them for science.
I think our IQ is not on the level, so there's like
they're
for
probably
us
just using us for entertainment. Honestly, they're like, look at this dumb species just killing themselves.
Yeah,
what the hell?
Maybe. Yeah, it would be fascinating though too.
Yeah, like
get in contact.
It's funny that like people don't believe in aliens. Like, I don't believe in space, but like
you believe in aliens.
But like that, because I believe it.
It doesn't make sense then, Emilio.
My brain doesn't make any sense.
Oh, that's true.
Like, I don't believe in space, but a part of me is like, okay, everyone's believing in it, so whatever, it's real. So then aliens are real. But then people that don't believe in aliens is like, you're that narcissistic that you think that in this entire universe, we're in one universe of like 1 trillion universes. You think that we're the only living things.
No.
A little narcissistic, don't you think?
No, just a tad.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
But to each their own. But yeah.
But you're funny. You don't believe in the universe and the space, but you believe in aliens.
I believe...
So where do they live?
I don't know.
I don't know.
They're just codes to me. Like,
oh, funny.
I don't know. Someone just put in like a code and boom, there's aliens.
Yeah, maybe.
Like, yeah, I mean, my brain is really confusing. Like, whenever I have these conversations, this always happens because it's like I believe in everything and nothing at the same time. So it's like
It's even confusing to you.
it's constantly contradicting itself. So it's like when I have these conversations and someone points out that it's contradicting, and in my head I'm like, that's normal to me, but then I gotta realize that no, I'm not making any sense right
No,
now.
you're not. You're not.
So I gotta like explain. This is how my brain works. I apologize. I know it's confusing.
No, you don't need to apologize. Never apologize.
No,
to me.
but I apologize for being confusing,
Yeah.
kind of thing. But yeah, it's my brain's weird, but at least it's not boring.
Yeah. Oh, look at the time.
Oh God, it's already
You
finished.
need to wrap it up.
Oh yeah.
It goes fast.
It
It's fun.
does.
Oh,
Yeah.
So we need to finish off like we always do with 3 things that we're grateful for.
Yes.
The high and the low. Do you want to start?
I can. I am grateful that we're slowly coming into rainy season. I love rain, so I'm also grateful that one of our cats is getting more cuddly because he used to be like a terrified schizo, but you know, he's getting there. I'm grateful that we have such a lovely house for now. We don't know where we're gonna go next, but for now, this is very nice. The high of the day, nothing much has happened to me today. The low of the day is my cat giving me the cold shoulder for cuddling with the other one. He got so jealous and he refused to look at me for like half an hour. And the word of the day is be loyal to your cats.
So we could do a sentence of the day instead.
Yeah.
We always do that. We say the word of the day and then it ends up being a sentence.
Yeah, and there's
That's
no
fine.
rules.
No. Right, so I'm grateful for an hour massage I had earlier today, which is lovely. I am grateful that we're doing this. And it's the 4th and we can soon release. And I'm very grateful to be able to live in Bali and that we're welcome here. The high of the day was having lunch with a friend that just came back. The low of the day, I haven't got one. And the word of the day is... I can't figure one out now. What have I done today? Oh, I say Freddy. That's the fluffy cat we have.
Yeah.
That is getting out of his trauma. He's got some childhood trauma, poor guy.
Freddie Mercury and Lenny Kravitz.
Yeah.
And Lenny Kravitz gets very jealous of Freddie Mercury. So, it's just a funny thought. Like, the two people, not like the cat.
That would be so funny.
Yeah.
Lenny Kravitz giving the cold shoulder.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you so much for listening.
Yeah.
And
who knows what we're going to talk about next?
I know. So see you next week, hopefully. Or see you, well,
whenever.
Yeah. And comment if you want us to talk about whatever next time. Who knows?
Thanks for listening.
Ciao.
Bye.